how do you think KBF has helped Kerala in terms of building a cultural tourism product? And sometimes some of these products do have synergies. Cruise tourism could have a synergy with culture tourism. And how do you work that out?
See, it's my experience the last 5 years spending a lot of time in Kerala after 20 years of distancing from this region. Got a great opportunity to kind of work with people who has already been in the field of responsible tourism. I still remember the initial conversations what Josh Dominic sir used to highlight about the importance of having responsible and sustainable tourism activity. But we never looked at the biennial as an intervention which is going to help tourism industry in that sense. But eventually we started realizing as a cultural project what we are doing by highlighting the regional history, the larger context, and the larger relationship this region has with the vast world. So it's like through trade, through other proselyte ties, or the religious relationships. Many things has given this region as kind of strong blood relationship with the larger world. And within this 5 years, what the foundation has achieved with the help of people, it's ignited a sense of responsibility in people and also highlighted their own history and heritage. So eventually, by inviting like international artists to this region, by narrating their own stories, because the first project was talking about Kochi's history, its legacy, its depth, its Muziris, and it's like many layers of it. So now I think as a project it is doing a cultural acupuncture, which is much needed for this larger India. I mean, it's Kerala, I think it's on the feet of our nation. So Kerala has to contribute a lot in the area of culture. I think culture is the most sustainable activity in any regions. I mean, there are histories if you really look at the projects which has changed certain regions, whether it is Bilbao effect in Spain, or the recent Middle East uprisal which has happened in the cultural space, where it's not just people who are following money, people are also following patronage. So we need to kind of to develop a sense of patronage for art and culture, which will bring more people to this region as cultural
is the
tourists.
Government or the industry helping popularize this, bring in more visitors to
I think Kerala government's decision in 2010 to start this biennial was a visionary move. I think we had the right people there at the right time, people who had great experience in the world of tourism, a person like Dr. V. Vanu was there. He was the tourism minister, also the culture minister. We had another minister who was not minister, was secretary. So I think the visionaries, whether from the politics or in other areas, it was a coming together of politicians, bureaucrats and artists. So these are three major, maybe nuts and bolts, which also kind of can, if you put the creative industry speak, how do we work that?
But cannot tour package creators, tour operators help sell KBF better?
You see, that is the area that I am introducing to, maybe in a forum like this, where the biennial has not really worked hand in hand with Kerala tourism operators. So we need to kind of take a step, because it's an opportunity. It's not just a 1 day or a 1 week event. It's a season actually. It's it's a 108-day event, and in a time where the Kerala tourism is peaking. So we can host an event with such a depth, and we can have many promotional activities all across the country, Because there is this cultural tourists plan their trip 6 months in advance. That most of the time that is their schedules, and they follow other events. They'll come to one place, like they might come to kind of Jaipur Lit Fest and go to India Art Fair. That's what happened in this month. So the same way next year there is Biennale, there is a new project in Goa, there is Jaipur Lit Festival, there is India Art Fair. So the many things can be linked, and we can assign and organizations like tourism tour operators in this region to tap that audience, and that audience is like very high-end audience. It's also we did many. Nobody knows that we did. We had many chartered flights landing in Kochi at the time of the Biennale, and they are coming with groups like YPO's, Christie's group, Sotheby's group, the other international museum group, MoMA, Tate Modern, kind of interest which they show to come and attend a project like this. But sometimes we are not able to facilitate them a kind of a greater experience in Kerala. They'll come, they'll experience the Biennale and they go back. But if you can schedule it in such a way that where they also get to see the kind of traditional, the backwaters and other things, and Kerala's history is like revealed interesting. We had discussions earlier, but we are also looking for partners. Maybe Josh Dominic sir can also add so much into the same question, because he's always emphasized this aspect.
I have heard Mr. Masood also talk about the need to create new products, whether it's sports tourism, cruise tourism. How can tour operators help package cultural tourism along with other products?
The finest example of an event bringing tourism is here, right, sitting next to us. What we need to do is, see, there are many off seasons in Kerala. Maybe we should think about organizing year-round international sports events. Like I believe few years back there was a boat race which was conducted in Kochi, speedboat race. But I wouldn't say a speedboat race. We have a real affinity for the sailing boats which can be conducted, and that draws in a lot of people. So that is one. Golf is another area which can bring in people. Now these can be planned in such a way that it becomes an yearly event, and this is where I talked to Kerala Tourism last month in Trivandrum about let us start up some signature programs which are based in Kerala and sponsored by Kerala. So it will be a year-round event, like the Madras Open now brings in a lot of tourists. The Bombay Marathon brings in a lot of tourists from all over the world. In fact, I was there on that same day. The flight in which I was traveling had people coming from Kerala attending the Bombay Marathon. Likewise, people from all over the world were attending the Bombay Marathon. So these are events that can bring in tourism, but it will not be for a long period. Maybe it will be for a short period, but along with that, other destinations also will sell. So Kerala can do a lot more on events like this.
Okay.
And to that extent, I'm sure all of us in the tourism industry will take initiative.
And how about the cruise tourism? Cruise tourism could help a property like KBF as well.
See, the cruise tourism right now, what is happening is
Stuck on the visa issue?
it's not nothing to do with the visa issue. It's only everything to do with the service tax issue. Why people are not coming and basing ships in India is the high service tax. And actually there is zero revenue from cruise tourism in Kerala, other than the ships that call on port for a one day, which is only bringing in, say, 50 ships come, you get 50 days of just local sightseeing, that's all. Whereas if a ship is based in Cochin, it not only benefits the operator, the tour operator, it benefits every single element of the tour industry. The hotels get a pre and post tour, or this one, the transporter gets benefit, the airlines get benefit. So our idea should be to base a ship in Kerala which can year round bring in at least 500 passengers to 600 passengers a day.
Okay.
And these are all high-end market, not low-end.
I'll take this question further to Mr. Abraham George. From a KTM perspective, how is KTM absorbing the need to create new products and circuits, whether it's pilgrim tourism or cruise tourism? There is the Muziris project, KBF. Shouldn't KBF be part of an official tourism destination? We don't see them coming to a WTM or an ITB or a FITO.
Yeah. KTM basically is a showcasing body for the members. It cannot create it itself as a product oriented, but it can liaison with the members as well as the different bodies and a platform for introducing new products.
Okay.
For example, this cultural tourism or sports tourism. Sports tourism 2017 FIFA World Cup
FIFA Under 17
is coming. So I've been invited for the program. So we have noted, understood the potential of FIFA. It's coming from 36 countries, and the participants will be 250 riders is coming. So one ground is in Kochi. So it's a 1 month whole program. The whole world is coming. So the minimum inventory will be 2,000 rooms for a one station. So I've been invited for the first round of meeting. What they need is they are requesting the government, tourism department to be a partner, because we can showcase Kochi or Kerala to the global market as a main hub. So sports tourism can be one big area which we can explore. Second is Biennale, Muziris. So these are the two products because last 30 years we have been working and running with only limited products, just one outboard, one Ayurveda. It's high time we have to invent and create new products. So KTM is taking a lead to help the members, because products is to be created by the different operators or destination. So
But
KTM can be a platform.
we also have now 100 crores coming into the Gavi, Wagaman, Tekri circuit, and another 100 crores into the Shabrimala circuit. So that's also religious tourism, pilgrim tourism is going to get a fillip because of that. Do you see that?
Yeah, Kerala has immense potential and products, but we have to create a model products and just be marketed outside. So that is great. Kerala tourism also has to take initiative to take the product outside.
True. That's currently not happening. They may be waiting for the infrastructure to be in place because of the funding. It's just
partnering with trade and the government. Then only it can be a sustainable model.
Yes, please.
Just add on, because I think it's a very related point. And one thing was like, because you mentioned about Shabrimala, I think there was some recent studies saying that Kerala attracts like a huge amount of pilgrim tourists. The problem most of them are facing is like there is no quality service available to them, and we traditionally we treat them as like somebody who's like left everything and going for a revision in his life. So we don't associate them that they need better facilities. So maybe that's one area. I think Kerala has huge number in comparison with other states in that Shabrimala area itself. There are people who have been even comparing with places like Banaras and other even Kumbh Melas and all. The number is huge in terms of another area that Sir was mentioning about Muziris. I think we've not identified the real depth of Muziris Heritage Project, that how much it can attract, because it talks about larger world. It talks about the history of everyone to some extent, the history of the religious properties, how it moved to one place to the other, and the global connect. How the Jewish community was here, never persecuted, the Muslim, the first mosque. We've never been able to kind of tell these kind of stories. The first mosque in India or the first church in these are like very interesting stories at this time to talk about a very secular, diverse community which we all live with. I think this is something which we also need to project. And the Pattanam Excavation Project, which is a kind of a project with larger depth, and the way they explain that way, maybe we have to kind of bring those serious layers like the way K.N. Panikar or the whole idea. Like when if you dig 1 meter, you cover 1,000 years. If you dig another meter in Pattanam, the layers which they see, like you cover 2,000 years. If you dig another, 1 more meter, you cross the religious history. You go into, so it's a very beautiful metaphors this region has. That's one reason we can say it's also kind of a God's own country in that sense. But how do you lift that beyond just talking about the beauty is the metaphor for saying something like that. That's one. Then the last question, I just wanted to add that, how do you increase the number? Into, I think domestic, whenever we talk about art, especially contemporary art, we think international. But if you look at the numbers which we have met, 5 lakh visitors last year, it is the domestic tourists. The way they have come in, the art community, from all across the country, India, like the Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta, Chennai, and Bangalore, so huge. The Karnataka Lalital Academy took a decision to send, all the artists last year to the Biennale, and they gave a grant of 5,000 rupees each to travel. There are many areas that at the moment we facilitate better atmosphere in Cochin. And I'm not talking about the other aspects of whether alcohol, all those issues are there. I think there are other platforms. So we are also creating better ambience and relating even art to the ordinary. That we've changed the perceptions. So we are doing a project in Kochi now. We're going to initiate. The ideas come from Hermes Tharagan sir actually, with auto rickshaws in Kochi. Maybe we'll spread it because most of the auto rickshaws do tourism activity there because they are the carriers of the tourists. They get commission, so they just move around. So we are initiating a project called We Do Art. The auto rickshaw will have a tag called We Do Art. So it's like just to kind of make it, but that art is like auto rickshaw tourism. So if we just want to kind of play with this kind of terminologies to kind of relate art with people in a very different level. So I just thought, just the same question, these are some interesting points to add.
I just wanted to comment on this. The issue is, like you said, when you talked about Sabrimala pilgrimage, you spoke about pilgrimage and stopped there. Has it ever been thought about as a tourism? It has never been thought as a tourism. It is a pilgrimage center and it is a sanctum sanctorium that the moment tourism comes in, something wrong is attached to it. Now that complete mindset has to change from the top to the bottom, that tourism is not something which is a negative or a positive aspect to the state in terms of earning foreign revenues or foreign exchange, but it is also a possibility of capturing the essence of the state. And we have started so many small things. There was an adventure sports this thing started in Varkala, but it never took off. There are opportunities available. There are so many avenues available. The issue is identifying them, creating that product, and making it understand very clearly that it is a part of tourism, and tourism is the only sustainable industry in the state going for the future. Very clear.
Absolutely.
See, talking about products, see, culture and religion, I would put religion as part of the culture, because if we take Islamic culture in Kerala, for example, see, we have the first mosque, Kodungallur, after that Kottayam, after outside Middle East. You take the Jewish circuit, okay, take Kochi, Mala, then still further, if you link it, bring in the Jewish settlements in Maharashtra, in Gujarat, and in Calcutta, you can have a Jewish circuit. And that you bring it along with, say, a program like the Biennale. Okay. Now, somebody who's interested in Islamic culture, okay, and wants to see how Islam spread to the rest of the world, from somebody coming, a group coming from, or somebody coming from Middle East, for example, he comes to explore, see about the art in the Biennale. Then he explores the the Islamic heritage. That may be his interest. Or a Jewish, somebody from the Jewish background comes. And their roots here, And then you take the Christians, And even actually now there is an added interest among the Christians in Europe, though Christianity is sort of fading there, but the people who are strong in it are very much interested in what is happening in Kerala. Because last week we had 50 people, Germans and Europeans who came. They came for lunch to our property. So I mean, and every year in fact we are getting groups like that, because there's a new interest in among people like that. So then again you take adventure tourism, Vagaman with paragliding, In fact, we tried to do something about that thing, and in fact it didn't really take off. One of the problem about all these things is that we lack the proper infrastructure. We have the 4-star hotels and the good hotels, but that is not. You see, you start off from Kochi, you are going to Thekadi, for example. Where do you stop for a food, or where do you stop for a toilet? Just think about it. And he takes the same thing about Sabarimala people. It is tragic actually. We travel because lot of Sabarimala people go through our places. They don't have any proper facilities. If you build that, and it is creating income in the local areas, and that is also part of tourism. It is not only 4-star or 3-star, but all local people providing food and facilities. You create incomes, you create employment. So so actually we should work at it what Joseph said. We did a very good job, but looking forward. We have to look about new products, new facilities, new infrastructure, and as he said about sustainability is very important, because economic, social, and environment, and for that there should be a cooperation between the government, the society, the society at large, the people, and the industry. And we all of us have to work together and take Kerala to the next level, because as he said, Kerala tourism may be the only economic future we have in Kerala. We are not our agriculture is failing. We don't have much scope in industry, in the manufacturing industry. So we have to think ahead.
Riyas sir, you were saying something.
I just want to say that we are a bit chaotic when it comes to developing a new destination. We focus on something, but we never get through it. Now, Muziris has been one of the most important developments that happened 8 or 10 years back. It started when a minister was interested, Finance Minister Thomas. So after that, it just faded away. Now it's going at a very slow pace. This is something, if you develop that area, Muziris, it can sustain a tourist for 2 more days in Kochi or in suburbs. That's one area. Second thing is ecotourism. We are talking about ecotourism, but there is no development. You see Tenmala, it's a very good place for ecotourism. Now Gavis, we are going to spend 100 crores there. I don't know what's going to come, you spoil that place. But even where we have a ecotourism already in place, bridge and walking bridge, things like that, you don't have a place where you can stay. You have to come either from Trivandrum or nearest place, Koilon or something. So we have to develop those areas, small cottages, not like what is happening in Munnar now, all multi-stories coming up and spoiling the place. But when we say development, what kind of development do we want? We want to spoil a destination, or do we want to sustain it? The sustainability comes even where we are building things. We say it is infrastructure development, but actually it is a destruction of that place. So we have to be very careful, and there should be some authority to regulate. Regulation is out of out of fashion now, but certain regulations are required to sustain a destination. So sustenance of destination is one point. Second thing is existing places where we are already identified as ecotourism or Muziris. Around it we have to build places where people can stay, or we should publicize it. So focus should be on that.
See, there's one point I would like to add. Right now, whatever development that is happening in Kerala is either developed entirely by the private players, or like Mr. Riyas said, something that is happening somewhere. The industry is not aware what the government is doing. So there should be a real need for joint discussion before any tourism project is taken up in the state. No, there's absolutely no discussion before any serious project is taken up. I think that is one area which, there is one advisory committee, I don't know what's happening in Trivandrum, but there should be a real group which can plan along with the government to think about new projects. This will really help.
Joseph,
I'd like to come back to the first point, what Kochi Muziris Biennale, its role in Kerala's economic and social development. As an event, it has now achieved global excellence, reputation. And what does that do to the Kerala brand, the image of Kerala? And where art flourishes, the land is where liberal, where it's a great place to live in, therefore a great place to invest in, great place to visit, all of that consequential. So in my view, the Kochi Muziris Biennale, which took place, the second and the third edition which is not going to happen, is perhaps Kerala's most powerful marketing and brand building event. When all the news out of India is tragic, of all the violence against women, all the rest of it, the one good news, one excellent news of having global excellence is this event taking place. It's rated among as an art event of the best in the world. So if from a land where such an event can take place, look at the inference. In that land, it's a great place to holiday in. So as an event, and it was therefore I think great visionary in 2010 said that biennial and with full support. I do think that now it will be proven that governments and industry will now see that it's well spent, good effort, is promote events such as this, is perhaps is much better, is probably as powerful or even more powerful than advertising in full page advertisements all over the world. This information about art, that events, whether it was, as Riyas mentioned, 500,000 people went. Look at the word of mouth. And those are people who came in auto rickshaw, those are people who came in private jets. So art, how do you look at Paris? The image from Paris is art. And Paris is the most visited city in the world. And art and fashion, art and culture, art and music, all of that goes, there's such a big, strong synergy which brings to that. And therefore, the Kochi Muziris Biennale is a wonderful investment which the government has done and which industry will, I think, increasingly see it as happening. And Kerala is now seen to be an art destination, a biennial destination. Kochi mayor himself said it is biennial city. Owning that, adding that to our brand will change, bring completely new dimension
to the brand.
Just to add on to cruise tourism, which is related to the aviation industry as well. In fact, in Oman, which is a country which sells nature like what Kerala does, there is a lot of tourism which comes like cruise and fly. They come into Oman, they fly out to Dubai, and then they take another ship and go around. So like what Masood said, we had around 30 to 35 ships coming last year. And with the sales tax issue, which is something new to me, which I heard now, should be something which should be pursued basically to have people coming into the mainland and spending their time, then moving on to fly out of Cochin, take the ship from another port, especially in view of the new port which is coming up in Trivandrum, which also will be very big because we are tending to lose a lot of our customers to the neighboring countries, which is still a big threat in terms of people sailing there or moving out of there. So I think that is one area which we've not really focused on in terms of tourism into Kerala, because it brings in volumes, it brings in quality, and people who have purchasing capacity. Once it's done, we'll have people from the Far East as well coming into Kerala. So that's one area which I feel which will help the local tourism as well as.
But the regular tourism which is happening here is not benefiting. It's only a 3 or 4 hours
Stop off.
transit and visit. It's not that much benefiting to any port. So it is all planned well in advance in Europe or international market. So if we can able to at least make 1 or 2 days stay, that is not decided in our hands. So only cruise tourism, which is ship to be
Based
berthed in Cochin, will attract more tourists for Kerala.
But how do we make that happen?
I think the Department of Tourism has to take a very strong decision there. I mean, even a property like Biennial, you need 3 days to or 2 days to see it. And we surveyed last year. Actually, the cruise tourist doesn't even come to Biennial.
Yeah.
They just
They don't have the time.
They have only 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
3-4
So
hours.
I think the Biennial as an event, as a annual biannual event, it has to be in all the forums internationally also. So then the people's planning can be
Will get
better.
factored into that plan.
Yeah, it's so important.
It's a long-term plan.
So,
No, it has to be featured in the cruise operator. No? So, for example, Ida Cruise or Costa Cruise, they create the itinerary one year ahead, and visiting only the spot visit Goa, Cochin, Mangalore. So it is not included in their maximum itinerary in Cochin is half day city of
half day
Cochin
tour.
or aqua cruise. That is all pre-sold.
Pre-sold.
So it has
They
to be-
don't have time, actually what Johnny means is they don't have time to visit the Biennale because they are coming with a preset itinerary.
No,
which
is that because
pre-sold
they don't
on
know
and
there is
back.
Biennale?
Yeah.
They don't know.
They don't.
Absolutely. I just wanted to put few points into it's part of some of the very interesting observations recently made by Diana Al-Haq, who wrote the Banaras, the City of Lights. She was speaking about the river, the culture which the Kerala is full of river. So she said a very interesting point in that Sabrimala is also a place that where the best eco-friendly tourism happens in India. Because the people who go to look at the Pamba river has been also worshipped by people not like the Ganga. So she was giving it as so we don't attribute our rivers as part of our potential sites for bringing, because we have settled. Kerala is like it's a beautiful settlement around the rivers or the banks of the river. So I feel that it also depends on how we narrate a myth like this, which brings in like a huge amount of people. So we need to re-narrate it into a very different context. It can be a part of also a river, travel and
Last 20 years, I am in the field. I am handling the highest volume to Kerala, and the majority of my clients, especially take pilgrim, Hindu belief, Madurai, Tanjavur, Kanyakumari. See, as a Hindu, in his mind, before he dies, out of the 6 temples or places he has to visit, this one is Rameshwaram, and is have a bath in Kanyakumari. So, Guruvayur is also. So, Sabarimala we cannot treat like that. So, Sabarimala during the Magaravalaka, these festival days, we cannot come take anything in granted. It is all devotees are coming. The rest of the time, we can have a talk with the Devasam board. They should create a product where Devasam board should allow us to make it a product as a tourism. So, rest of the whole 9 months, we can make as a one product of Kerala. Otherwise, pilgrim tour, what is the meaning of pilgrim tour?
in Thrissur they did that
Yeah.
the walk to that Velangan Kunnu is a big hit. I mean that.
These type of products can be developed. A tour operator cannot do it alone unless it is backed by Devasam board or the Hindu community.
True.
So we should not touch the Magaravalaku or the first of every month. Rest of the time is there.
Like you said that Pamba is also getting dirty, people are not taking care of it or something.
But recently it got totally cleaned up by the Padmanabhatta administration.
No, let me come back to what Masood has said.
Additional 3 days, that's what
Okay,
I meant, not the
no,
existing.
it's not additional 3 days. What I am talking about is when we are looking at a tourism, we look at from a completely different point of view. In the sense that tourism means some foreigners coming in or somebody else coming in. Let us not look at it that. The people who comes to Sabarimala, okay, nothing will happen because they are under penance. Okay. Post Shabarimala visit, like Masood is saying now they wanted to get back. Now that attitude, can it be changed? That's one question, number one. Number two, forget about the festival days. Let us not look at the festival day. But every month on the 1st, the Shabarimala is open and it is not so much of rush in that. Can those dates, not the festival dates, be identified for pushing in pilgrimage tourism?
I like to say a contrary view here. Now, Shabarimala exists in a very fragile environment. That environment best left alone. It belongs to the tiger. It belongs to the animal, it belongs to the wild. But because of social religious compulsions, that small window is open for that alone.
Okay.
And best left closed and let it be. The only way access to Shabarimala should be as sustainable, low density, few handful of people at most. It is not. We have so many other products to worry about. Not of this. This is, in fact, the sustainability studies show that the numbers of Shabarimala far exceed the carrying capacity of that area. The Pamba river is spoiled, the flowers is spoiled, everything is happening. But it is necessary for social and religious compulsions that you cannot, that numbers are exceeding. And therefore, from a tourism industry standpoint, we should not worry and let Shabarimala, traditional, when the gates are closed, let it remain closed. And let the forest be, let the tiger have that place instead of the pilgrim. The best thing that can happen to Shabarimala is go back to the old tradition. 40 days and on foot. And on foot. The vehicles are not allowed there. That's the best thing you can do to a person who is doing a pilgrimage,
That's a good
Yes.
to the environment.
Without saying don't come in.
It will be there. See, you will walk. That means you are a pilgrim.
You were saying something.
You know what, I feel in the case of Shabarimala, he said there is a scope.
There is
that
a
is
scope.
after Shabarimala. After Shabarimala, this penance is over, for example. A lot of these people who come there, they are non-vegetarians. Okay, and I know people who when they come back, they go to all the non-vegetarian hotels and go back. You know, they for 40 days they have, and so they want to enjoy. Like on Christmas,
Like
you know,
Easter and Christmas.
people do things, you know. so actually, you give them a good
Return.
say food festival.
No, you can have pre-post.
Food festival, add a lot of things into that, you know. So that, in fact, I feel there is a scope if you really look at it.